And I'm not equipped to do this, but if you ever sat down with my pastor, Reverend Herbert Daughtry, and wanted to have a theological discussion about that area, he wouldn't stand a chance. So there is so many ways that we're right on this. And it's unfortunate that in struggle, death occurs. But for this, we know that we are going to be a liberated people. We know that when we liberate Palestine, we liberate Africa.
That's right.
When we liberate Africa, we're going to liberate the Caribbean and Latin America and Central America and Holland and the United States of America. And you know something? You only go around once in life, so you might as well live it with some spine. You only go around once. You might as well be bold, be audacious, stand up for what you believe in. You can call me what you want, but you know what? I get a good night's sleep every night. It's like
Ovenden, the national coordinator of Viva Palestina, an organization that has broken the siege of Gaza 3 times with tons of humanitarian aid for the impoverished people of Gaza. Kevin, who has worked tirelessly on breaking the siege of Gaza, was on the Mavi Marmara when it was attacked by Israeli commandos in international waters. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Kevin Ovenden.
Brothers and sisters, Wani wa akhawati, Akadesh, Assalamu alaikum, peace be on all of you. It's an honor to speak at this great church, and great thanks to Reverend Daughtry for inviting us back here again. He's right. I have fond memories of this place. This time last year, stuffing bags full of aid to take to the stricken people of Gaza. A mission which was led, amongst others, but by no one more so than by Councillor Charles Barron, a man who again has shown his leadership this evening. If I may make one domestic political point at the beginning. In my experience, it's extremely important that if political figures speak out over Palestine, it's vital that those of us who stand with Palestine support them and ensure that they are returned. After the British Empire murdered Irish freedom fighters, strapping people who were wounded already to a chair in order to execute them, following the Easter Rising of 1916, the great poet William Butler Yeats wrote, "All changed, changed utterly. A terrible beauty is born." Today we might add to the second part, the couplet, a new phase of struggle is born, but at a terrible, almost unbearable price. Nine brothers taken from us aboard the Mavi Marmara. Dozens more wounded by gunshots to the head, to the abdomen, and to the limbs. Their blood is now lapping on the shores of Gaza. But their blood was not shed in vain, because the tide has turned, and we must seize this land to make a lasting change to the people of Palestine, in the Middle East, and around the world. We remember them. I remembered them on the Monday night after the assault, bound in an Israeli dungeon in the Negev desert. It is a place where any self-respecting friend of Palestine would be honoured to spend just 1 minute in such a place. I remembered the brother who was shot through the leg, just 1 metre in front of me. The one shot through the abdomen, 50 centimetres to the right of me. Where we were, there were no Israeli commandos within the immediate proximity. It is simply unfeasible for anyone to maintain that the people who fired those shots from above, not within our line of sight, in any sense could feel threatened by the 2 men who were shot either side of me. Simply unfeasible, a complete and utter lie. It's also a lie in the shooting dead of Jevdet Kılıçlar, a young man who left a wife and 2 children, a photographer. He was holding a stills camera. Again, not one Israeli commando within the immediate vicinity, but he was shot through the forehead, the high-velocity bullets blowing away the back third of his skull, cradled by a friend of mine, Nicky Enchmarch, as the last 2 seconds of his life passed away. And many, many more testimonies can come forward. And Yara, who deserves truly a medal for smuggling out some of the footage she was able to take. It is not evidence, of course, that will be marshalled in the Israeli so-called impartial inquiry which they've launched, into which the United Nations Security Council, the United States and Britain have acquiesced. This is a whitewash inquiry. It's an inquiry whose external participants include a man called David Trimble, a Northern Ireland politician who has his own responsibility when it comes to talking of tyranny and injustice, but who, amongst other things, is a founder member of a new Friends of Israel initiative launched only 2 months ago. He is on the impartial inquiry. They won't hear this evidence, but the evidence is being gathered, recorded meticulously, and there will be legal actions in many jurisdictions around the world, and a truly independent tribunal.
Yes!
And I can tell you now that the Emir of Kuwait, the Emir of Qatar, has publicly stated that he will underwrite all legal actions, civil and criminal, against the Israeli state over these atrocities.
Yes!
Well, you know, the thing about whitewashes, which any painter or decorator will tell you, is that if you slap whitewash on too thick and too quick, it begins to peel as soon as you put it on the window or on the wall. The British establishment has just found this out. 38 years ago, they commissioned a shotgun inquiry into the Bloody Sunday massacres, which killed 14 people, the witchery whitewash. And it's just been overturned by the Savile inquiry, and the truth is out, and the apologies are coming. 38 years too late, but justice will not be denied forever, and justice in this case will not be denied.
Here, here.
Because the tide has turned. This is the meaning of the massacre of the Mavi Marmara. It is that the miasma of defeat, which had settled, sedimented for so long in the minds of people throughout the Middle East, and even upon many of our own minds in this room tonight, is finally lifting. And we can see through the disappearing fog the way forward, and how we can start to take some steps forward to victory.
Yes!
The question is not, will this siege be lifted? The question is how rapidly it will take and how this siege will be ended. This is the question that we need to answer. I was with some of the families of the 9 people who were murdered. Some of them were friends of mine. We travelled together in December of last year and January of this on the last land convoy, which doubled in number as we crossed from Greece into Turkey. A crossing which brought friendship between people on both sides of a disputed border, an indication of what Charles was saying about how Palestine has become a lightning arrestor for all those who care about freedom the world over. Some of them were friends of mine. The relatives of those who fell were very, very clear. Israel is attempting to terrorize not only the Palestinian people, but all of those who stand with them. But we are not afraid.
Yeah.
We are not afraid today. We are not afraid today. And we will not be afraid in the future mission.